to this other counter because we don't have to cook tonight. Which sounds weird coming from a cooking class perspective. This is a super quick summer meal, so we're going to get to going on that. Since the camera's in a new location, if you're able to comment down below and let me know I'm coming through clear, that would be awesome. If I need to move the camera somewhere else, I sure will. I believe my phone says I have all of my towers here and we are ready to roll. But please let me know if you are able down in the comments. I hope everybody's doing okay tonight. So tonight we're going to be using raw cheese because, like I said, we're not cooking this. So that's one of the benefits of buying raw cheese from Azure Standard. You can use it if you're not going to be cooking. So we're using that tonight. And I need to grab a bowl. So tonight we're going to be making chicken ranch wraps. So the first step is going to be making the ranch dressing. So I'll angle the camera down and we'll get started. All this stuff that's in front of me, that's like crazy, you guys can't even see it yet. It's all to make ranch dressing, so the counter will get cleared off here rather quickly. Okay. So, I need a farm fresh egg or two here. So we're going to be making mayonnaise first because we're going to be making the homemade ranch dressing. That is in my cookbook. If you haven't purchased my cookbook yet, the link is down below. Still on sale. And the homemade mayonnaise recipe is on page 28, so we're going to start there. Okay, I got fresh cilantro and everything. We are ready to rock this recipe. But first, you just need a simple wide mouth jar. I always go for canning jars. I've never been able to get my mayonnaise to work out any other way in any other size of jar. So that's just what I reach for because I know it'll work. Also, it's important that you're using pastured eggs. We want healthy chickens that were happy and out on the line, okay? We're just after the yolk, so don't get grossed out. This is my compost container, okay? We're going to separate out that egg. And we're just after the yolk. And the white will go back to the chickens. And they'll turn into more eggs for our family. Okay, so 2 raw egg yolks. We're making mayonnaise, just in case you just jumped on. We are starting down the road to make homemade ranch dressing for our wraps. And like I said, if you are able to comment, please comment down below and let me know that the video is coming through clearly. If it's not, I can move my camera, so let me know. All right, next ingredient is Dijon mustard. I got this from Azure Standard. They just started making their own condiments. So we need a tablespoon, but I always put extra in. I just think it tastes better, so I didn't even measure it, but you guys sure are welcome to measure it. Okay, and then the next step, I'm going to get myself a measuring cup here. So for our mayonnaise, for oils, I like to choose avocado oil mixed 50-50 with organic olive oil. And the reason why is because in our past experiences, if you make it with all olive oil, we don't like the flavor. It's too in your face. But we loved the avocado mayonnaise that we used to buy at the store. And so I do use avocado oil for only this recipe. I don't cook with it. If these wraps are going into something that we're going to be baking, I don't use avocado oil only because it's been linked to DNA damage once it gets heated up. But this is not going to get baked. This is just a quick recipe. So we're going to do a 50-50 mixture right here. We need 1.5 cups of oil total. So I'll do 3/4 of a cup of each. And it doesn't have to be exact, you guys. You could do 25-75, whatever you'd like. And if you already have your mayonnaise made up, or even your ranch dressing made up, this recipe comes together super quick. Okay, so we have our 2 raw pastured egg yolks, 1 tablespoon plus some extra of organic Dijon mustard, and I've got a 1.5 cups of 50% avocado oil, 50% olive oil. So this is where you really need an immersion blender. You sure could make mayo without one of these. I've never been able to make it in a food processor. I know people who have been able to, but I just haven't. These aren't very expensive. This is a really, really old one. I think these are around $30 to $40 now. But really the key is room temperature eggs, okay? And then your oils need to be added really, really slowly. If your mayonnaise ends up not coming together, it's not fluffy, it's not like mayonnaise, it's because you added your oil too fast or because your eggs were not room temperature. So adding the oil slower is better than guessing how much you can get away with. So I'm just going to pulse this to mix the Dijon mustard and eggs together at the bottom. And I'm going to start slowly adding my oil. And the key is that you want to add the oil slow enough, because if you add it too fast, it doesn't emulsify the way it's supposed to. And so a small steady stream is best. And it's already starting to thicken down the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. What'll happen is as you're blending with your immersion blender, if you just start to lift it up out of the mixture at the bottom here, what'll end up happening is you'll be able to see the immersion blender sucking it up and then spitting it out as a thickened mayonnaise consistency. Nice and thick. I don't know if you guys, I'll just pull it out and show you. Okay, so we're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on adding. The last thing that does need to go into this oil in this measuring cup eventually is a good, let me see what my recipe says. It says 1 tablespoon of raw cider vinegar, but to be honest, I don't even measure it. I just kind of give it a splash. And what this is going to do is it's going to turn our mayonnaise more of a white, creamy consistency. And don't be worried. Yes, the vinegar goes to the bottom. Just a simple rule of separation there. Almost there, guys. Hang in there. All right, we've got mayonnaise. See that? So this keeps in the fridge for a really long time. I'm not going to tell you how long I usually keep mine. It's way longer than anything you'd buy in the store. Usually I just get rid of it if it smells weird or it grows mold as we eat it. So this will last us a while, but we're going to go ahead and turn this into ranch dressing. But first, because I'm going to add more ingredients into this jar, I'm going to empty out some of this mayonnaise. I'm just going to put it in a nice little jam jar, which will only feed my family for about one meal. Like if we were going to do breakfast English muffin sandwiches with eggs, that would last about one meal. I'm going to set this aside because we're going to be using this to blend the rest of the ingredients to make the ranch dressing. And I'm going to fill the extra into this jar right here. So the ranch dressing recipe only calls for 3/4 of a cup of homemade mayonnaise. And we obviously have way more in this jar than that. So we're just going to kind of fill this other one on up and roll with it. Once again, it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so this is going to go into the fridge with a lid on it. We can use it for a different meal. And we're going to turn the remainder of what's in this jar into ranch dressing. Okay, so the ranch dressing recipe is also inside my cookbook. If you haven't bought it yet, links down below. It is on page 29, so we're going to take off of there. So we already have our 3/4 of a cup of homemade mayonnaise. We need 3/4 of a cup of sour cream. Which I have right over here. This is kind of laying on it. All right, now, forewarning, this sour cream got to the very, very back of the fridge and got frozen. So, sour cream is a big no-no to freeze because it comes back kind of watery. But in this case, since we're after a dressing, not a big deal. It's a perfect use for it. So we need 3/4 of a cup of sour cream. It's a nice, easy pour. Look at that. There are benefits to freezing your sour cream here. All right, so that goes on in, and now we're going to go ahead and finish the rest of the ingredients. We need 3/4 of a teaspoon of dill weed, which is right here. There's a big difference between dill weed and dill seed. The dill weed is the green stuff that you get that grows up on the stalk of the dill, whereas the dill seed are the seeds that plant more dill plants. So for this, you want the weed. So that's going to sound really funny to most of you. The dill weed, okay, is what you're after. Okay, 3/4 of a teaspoon of dill weed. Okay. Next thing is parsley. Okay. And if you're going to use fresh ingredients, your measurements are going to be different than this. This is only 1/2 of a teaspoon of parsley. You could totally eyeball these amounts too, but if you measure them, you'll have more of the same result over and over again. Okay, so we got 1/2 of a teaspoon of chives. These came straight from my garden. We love chives, so there's obviously way more than 1/2 of a teaspoon in there. Okay, that's good. We need 1/2 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm going to be using garlic granules. Quarter teaspoon of onion powder. Once again, we're still trying to use up the stuff that has hardened in here. So it's a little rough. Just 1/4 of a teaspoon though. And it's just about to get blended, so clumps don't really matter because the blades on our immersion blender will hit the clumps and there'll be no more anyway. Okay, 1/4 teaspoon of healthy salt, which I did not grab. Let me see. Oh, it's over here on the table behind you guys. Okay, so 1/2 of a teaspoon of healthy salt. I'm just going to eyeball it in my hand there. And healthy salt, just in case you're new to the channel, is colored salt. So pink Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt that's gray, real salt, those are all great salt because the color that's inside your salt is the minerals that help your body to be able to handle the sodium, the salt itself. And so you don't get swelling, etc. inside your body from consuming salt that's healthy salt. We need those minerals, you guys. There's a reason why they're in there. 1 tablespoon of pure lemon juice. This is the brand I buy from Azure Standard and I absolutely love it. All that's inside this can right here is lemon juice. There's no preservatives. It's not lemon juice from concentrate. There's not citric acid. It's all just lemon juice. So we need 1 tablespoon, which this is 1/2 of a tablespoon, so we'll do 2 of them. Okay. And 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. So that's going to be quite a few. all right. Like I said, if you already had this made up, it would be super fast. Okay, 6 tablespoons. All right. Let me get rid of some of this. I'm glad that the video is coming through okay because I didn't really want to have to move you guys. I could do it, but I didn't want to have to. All right, so this is all the ingredients for the ranch dressing. So we're just gonna, again, put our already dirty from making the mayonnaise immersion blender down in here and blend it around. There we go. Ranch dressing. Like I said, you could totally make this ahead of time. It would make the meal go a lot faster. But it really is the only complicated part to the entire recipe. The rest of this is really easy. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm filling up a cup with some water. Doesn't have to be filtered water. This is the easiest way to clean these because the bottom has several blades and then like cracks and crevices that stuff can get into. And so I just stick it in a cup and blend away. And then the bottom comes completely clean and I can wipe off the sides with a rag and some soap. But if you don't do my little cup trick right away, the mayonnaise will harden in here and it's really hard to get it off the blades. Okay, we're rolling now. So, I have made already ahead of time here my sourdough tortillas, okay? You could use taco shells too if you want, whatever you would like. You could also add lettuce to this recipe. That'd be super good, or tomatoes. Anything that you have coming in from your garden right now that sounds good, just throw it on in there. We're going to be using canned chicken tonight because we're not cooking. This is a fast summer meal. But you sure could use grilled chicken that would be left over. I'm trying to look for my can over. Grilled chicken that is left over with, or like rotisserie chicken leftovers. Hang on one second. Here's my other tip, and I just started doing this. But when you can chicken, there's liquid in here. And typically in this scenario, I just dump it down the sink. But there's a ton of flavor in this. And so since I'm planning on making some cream of chicken canned soups for the fall and winter, that would be an amazing flavor to put in my canned cream of chicken. So I'm just going to take a freezer bag. And I'm just going to kind of drain it into the freezer bag instead of into the sink. And that way I can have that concentrated, flavorful liquid as my cream of chicken base. And it's going to be so good. It smells good without even going into a cream of soup. But there, see? I'll go throw this into the freezer. I have another bag in there somewhere, got buried. That I can just add to as I use my canned chicken. I'm going to set that aside to make sure I label it because I'm horrible with labeling things that go into my freezer and then I have no idea what it is, which is not at all helpful. So in goes the canned chicken, and like I said, you could totally use grilled chicken, you could use rotisserie chicken, you could use pretty much any chicken that you have on hand, okay? But this is a way that we can get dinner on the table in the summer when it's hot with no baking. Just a nice quick meal. I'm going to go ahead and get a knife and we're going to cut this up just a little bit smaller. I don't dice my chicken up very small when I go to can it because I never know what I'm going to be throwing this into. Sometimes I might just put it like in a baking dish with some cheese and cream cheese and bake it. And you want kind of bigger chunks that way because it's your main thing of your meal. I've got a bunch of chickens into the freezer that need to be cooked down, but when it's 90 degrees out, I'm definitely not doing that. So I grab the canned stuff. All right, this looks pretty good. There we go. Okay, Okay, so the next ingredient to go in here is actually fresh cilantro. Calls for 1/4 of a cup. I just went out and just picked a handful, okay? And my scissors, where did my scissors go? I don't know where I put them. I know, we just had them a second ago because I took them outside to go cut this. You're hiding. There they are. Okay. So I'm just going to cut the stems and all right into the chicken. You don't have to do cilantro, but cilantro gives it a ton of like cool flavor. Just like refreshing, you know? And when it's 90 degrees or plus outside, it's nice to have a little bit of refreshing. So I'm just going to cut this down. That's done. That's probably way more than 1/4 cup. But I did double the chicken. So the chicken is usually supposed to be for four of these wraps. You're supposed to have 2 cups of chicken, 1/4 cup of ranch dressing, which we obviously have way more than that, 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese, and 1/4 cup of cilantro. But I'm feeding way more than 4 people, and they're hungry. So we dumped an entire quart of chicken in here, which is roughly about 4 cups. And then we just did I don't know, it's probably 1/2 cup of cilantro maybe in there. And then I'm just going to drizzle some ranch dressing into this. I'm just going to eyeball it. Should be about 1/2 cup for me, but if you're only going to do it for 4 people, it would be 1/4 cup. I'm going to grab a spoon and turn it around down in there. This meal could totally be served with chips if you do chips in your family. We don't spend the money on chips. So tonight I'm going to be serving this with like a veggie tray. So chopped up carrots, ranch dressing dip, celery, that sort of an idea. You could also steam up some vegetables as a side. Steamed green beans or something like that. Just a way not to start that oven. But that's what we're looking for right there. I also have the raw cheese. Okay, it's already pre-shredded. So this comes together really quick. Let me grab a plate. Okay, so we got a plate here. I'm going to go ahead and just grab one. I'm going to do a smaller one because William will want his first. There we go. This is a William size tortilla right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of the filling in. Not going to be too much for him. Hang on. He gets really mad if it like goes all over the place. So I pray for his life. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's enough for William because, like I said, he's 4, and if it overflows, he gets very upset. And then we're just going to put some cheese down the center. And I don't know if I'm going to add any more dressing for William because, like I said, he doesn't like to get dirty. But if this was for an adult or an older child, I'd probably just drizzle some dressing down the side. And then you can totally add lettuce to the top. And you're good to go. If you were using a regular tortilla that was larger than my homemade 8-inchers, you could totally roll this into a tortilla. And like I said, you could totally do tomatoes and lettuce and totally load it up and put your ranch dressing over top and have it all nice and rolled up. But my little 8-inchers, we're not able to roll. So we're going to kind of eat like a soft taco. And I'm just going to make it like that. I'll make up one more. And then the older kids kind of like to do their own. They're getting to that stage, you know. So I tried something new, and it's been a little bit weird actually doing this video with you guys. I turned my phone to black and white mode. So everything I see is black and white, even though you guys see me in color. And I did that because I found out that a lot of the colors that they put on your phone and on the internet are excitable colors for your brain. So it really like entices you to stay longer on your phone, to keep coming back to your phone. And so just for my own test, because the person who told me about it said, just turn it off for a couple of days, just to black and white, and then go back to color. And he said that if you do that, when you go back to color, the color will be so loud and in your face that you won't be able to take it. So I'm gonna test that little theory out there. And my phone's on black and white right now. If you want to try it for yourself, you can get right here on YouTube and type in, like I typed in, Android black and white mode, and there's step-by-step directions on how to do it. All right, so these 3 are going to be ready for lettuce and an additional drizzle of ranch dressing. And that's all there is to this. Super, super fast meal. Well, how long have we been going? 25 minutes in and out. And if you already had that ranch dressing made up, this would be an under 10-minute meal. Because the tortillas are done, the cheese is done, it's all ready to go. We're just throwing it in. So that's it. Isn't that simple, you guys? I'll check comments to see if anybody's commented. Nope, nobody's commented yet. Y'all are being shy tonight. All right. Well, I think that's it for tonight. So hopefully that wasn't too quick for you guys. I am going to be working on a video out in the garden. I've been busy incorporating electroculture into my garden and seeing some amazing results. So if you're a gardener and you've never looked into that before, I would check out a YouTube channel here called Cultivate Elevate. He is very knowledgeable in a ton of topics. In fact, I would love to see him at the Weston A. Price conference. There are tons of people who are inviting him on their shows as speakers, but he knows a ton about electroculture, terrain theory, just all of these things. And it's just from self-research, really. But he is amazing. So go check out his channel. It's Cultivate Elevate here on YouTube. But I started down the electroculture road, and it's definitely worth it, I think. So I've been seeing some really good results, but that all takes time because I've been building copper antennas for my garden. And so I didn't get around to the video this week, but trust me, I'm going to put one out. And we'll get it up here on the channel. Let's see what else is coming up. I did not do a pre-scheduled event for next week yet because I'm actually not sure what I'm going to make yet. So I always have a quote-unquote meal plan of 7 to 8 meals that I can choose from because my house has all the groceries to make those meals. But lately I just haven't been like picking for sure what we want to eat. When it's so hot out, sometimes you don't even feel like eating at all. Or very little, or just something cold like ice cream. And so I'll make a nutrient-dense ice cream and nutrient-dense cookies, and we'll have ice cream and cookies for dinner. It just kind of depends. So I'll have to pick out, look at the weather, see how hot it's going to be next Tuesday, and then pick out the meal. And trust me, I will not forget. I'll put up a pre-scheduled event here with all of the ingredients and everything so you guys can cook with me. And I think that's it. Oh, I was going to mention, just in case you're new to this idea, I buy my oils from Azure Standard. And the reason why is because like this is actually a refined oil, this avocado oil. But Azure Standard processes it at the same temperature as the unrefined, okay? And the olive oil, all of their oils are guaranteed 100% olive oil or 100% avocado oil. They don't use any other oils to cut anything in. So that's a really, really good place to grab your oils. And spices. I mean, they saw all the stuff I did tonight. The dill weed, the parsley, all that stuff. Azure Standard has amazing deals on their spices. So, I think that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to gobble these up. Like I said, I might do carrot sticks with it. We'll just see how hungry everybody is. And I hope you guys have a great night. Keep your eyes open for that pre-scheduled event. And I will see you guys next week. Take care.